What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Knicks Recap Podcast. I'm your host, Troy, and you could be anywhere in the world this afternoon, but you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that. Shout out to the chat gang. Salute Knicks Nation. We have so much Knicks content to discuss today. We're going to talk about Julius Randle, his return, what date potentially we can see him come back for the Knicks. We're going to talk about Mark Cuban, who's made his way back in the news because he's making comments about Jalen Brunson. We're going to explore what he said about Brunson and potentially what would have happened if Brunson stayed with Dallas. Would he stayed there? Would he have made a super team with Luka? What would have happened there? We also have some inside information on that. We're going to break down some key dates of the NBA schedule. And one of the main things we're going to talk about today is the Knicks and their continued interest in adding another backup big to this roster. So we're going to break down all of those topics today, but I think it's very important to start off with this first topic. Julius Randle. Now, the main thing about Julius Randle, something that we all need to understand at this point in time, is that Randle has been dealing with an injury. He's been recovering from surgery. We all know that. He had the shoulder surgery. After he had that, he was debilitated. He could not deal with coming back because he could not play the right way. And because of that, he had to miss the rest of the regular season and the postseason. But because of the rehab and because of everything he did, the muscles around his shoulder got stronger, making his rehab go a lot easier. But the main question now is, when is Randle going to return for the Knicks? Is he going to come back by training camp? Is he going to miss camp? Is he going to come back by preseason, regular season? What's going to happen with Randle? Well, today we're going to break down exactly when Julius Randle is rumored to return for the Knicks, and we're going to cover all of those reports and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Randle's return date has been revealed. I don't know about you guys, but for me, this is what I've been waiting on. We already know about the news of who's going to be on the roster, more or less solidified who the top 9 players on this team are going to be next season. What we didn't know, though, is the return date for some of these players. Now, of course, Mitchell Robinson, we can talk about him at a later date. Jalen Brunson, we already know. We saw at the conference when he became captain, his hand looks fine. The only question mark then, Julius Randle. Where is he in terms of his rehab? Is he going to come back for the Knicks sooner rather than later? Is he going to be available for training camp? Well, thanks to Ian Begley of SNY, a great NBA insider and a trusted source of this channel, he just reported that Julius Randle potentially could find his way returning for the Knicks during the preseason. Let's break down these latest reports for you guys today. Shout out to Ian Begley for giving us the following. Also, on the injury front, we reported late last month that Julius Randle's rehab from the right shoulder surgery was going very well. Randle underwent surgery in early April. The Knicks at the time said Randle would be reevaluated in September. Based on other timelines for shoulder surgery, it would be surprising if Randle were ready for the start of training camp. But if everything progresses well, he should be back on the court for the Knicks October 22nd for the season opener or soon thereafter. So everything that we're hearing right now, at least from Ian Begley, is stating that Julius Randle should be available for the Knicks when we start the regular season. Now, does that mean he's going to miss all of training camp? Given the report, I would say it's likely. I don't think Julius Randle comes back for training camp, but it doesn't mean he's not doing something to return. He's likely going to be rehabbing, trying to clear some type of hurdles, trying to come back for this Knicks team. So it's not like he's going to do nothing. The one thing I do want to highlight here, though, Julius Randle is a physical specimen. Anytime you give him a timeline, what does he do? He knocks it out of the park, and normally he returns sooner or earlier. If that's the case, then maybe you might see Julius Randle in the Knicks preseason games. I'm not talking about the first couple of games. We're playing 5 this season. So if we're playing 5, I can see Randle playing in at least the last two. And if Randle can come back for the Knicks in the last two preseason games, get a couple of minutes underneath his belt, gain some more chemistry with this team, play some more practice with this team, get in those reps, I think when we start the season with Randle, we are going to be in very good shape. It's going to be like riding a bike for Randle. And when he returns, we are going to be unstoppable. I've said it before, and I'm going to repeat myself again. You've never seen Randle surrounded with this level of talent. First time ever, we are maximizing Randle's abilities by placing the right pieces around him. You got defenders that can potentially hide him on defense on some nights when he's not there on defense. I'm okay to admit that. I can say that. Randle's not the Knicks' best defender, but he's one of our best offensive players. And now you've expanded his range because at the perimeter, at the wings, you have Mikal, you have OG Anunoby, you have Dante, you have Miles McBride. And by the way, Josh Hart is working on his three-point shot. If he becomes lethal from there, there's nothing you're going to be able to do against Julius Randle. I understand the rehab right now. It's hard to hear. I'm not going to lie. It is not good to hear that your three-time All-Star is going to miss training camp because we saw what happened last year. You want him to be available in each and every game possible because the more practice he gets, the better he gets, the more chemistry he gets. And maybe he doesn't start off to a sluggish start. And we saw that happen last season. When he was coming back from injury, I believe after the first 5 or 6 games, which, by the way, were very bad games for Randle in terms of his offense. He was not doing well. He did not look good. But there's always a but, right? A couple of games after that, maybe 6 or 7 games after, he began to go off. And I expect the exact same thing, if not much sooner, with this Knicks team. Because now Julius Randle can trust his pass even more because we have the personnel for Randle to trust. This is the best Knicks team we've ever had, the best Knicks team that's ever surrounded Randle. And when he comes back to this team and we have him on this roster, we are going to show you why the Knicks are one of the powerhouse teams in the league. I also want to break down a couple of other key dates from Ian Begley on the injury front because he wasn't done there. He also gave us some more information here. According to Ian Begley, he also stated, I wanted to follow up here, Randle, based on other shoulder surgery timelines, surprising if he were ready for start of camp, but if everything is progressing well, he should be back for the opener or soon after. So at this point in time, at least of what it's looking like here, Julius Randle is most likely going to be returning for the Knicks come preseason or at least come the start of the regular season. When it goes to Jalen Brunson, full participant in camp, he's likely not going to miss any time. He's going to be available, and he's going to go off as well, too. I'm expecting big things from Jalen Brunson. He has another ceiling, ladies and gentlemen, and I expect him to reach it. Let's keep going here, though. Mitchell Robinson, several hurdles before clearance to fully participate in camp. You know what that means to me? It tells me why the Knicks have been looking for those backup bigs, for trying to trade for those backup centers, because they knew what some of us more or less just found out, that Mitchell Robinson is still dealing with that rehab, still dealing with those injuries. And because of that, we don't know when he's going to return. Clearly, according to Begley, he may not return for camp. Is it going to be sooner than that? Longer than that? We do not know. When I get more information on it, I will be dropping another video on it. Likely going to happen this weekend, so definitely keep your eye out for that. But just going back to Julius Randle, Randle coming back for this Knicks team, people don't understand that last year, it was like missing one of your biggest pieces, and we were still doing what we were doing. Now Randle comes back to this team, a team that's better, that's more fit for his skill set, and all he has to do is play within the offense. And for all the naysayers, for everybody who thinks that Randle can't do it, all I'll have to do is point to January, when our team still wasn't fully healthy, but Randle was embracing the pass and playing within the flow of the offense. That's what you need from players like your 3-time All-Star and Julius Randle. That sets a precedent. It sets an example. Everybody wants to follow that. And that's the type of Randle you're going to get this year. Bully ball Randle, he's about to come back. And it's about to be the best ball you've ever seen from Randle in his entire career. I am so happy that he's on the road to recovery. He is healthy, and he's looking like he's going to come back for the Knicks at the season opener, if not before then. This is good news for the Knicks. They are going to take off once he joins this team. And I think a lot of people have forgotten or maybe have not remembered who Julius Randle really is, the player that he is, how he balls out for this Knicks team, how good this Knicks team actually is with Randle in it. I think we forget. And all I have to do is remind us of the Indiana series. If we had somebody like Randle down low, we destroy Indiana. And that's one person. And we've added several other players that make us better. We're coming, New York. It's our time. We have the people, we have the players, the personnel, and three-time All-Star Julius Randle is returning fully healthy, likely to start the season for the Knicks. We are going to be one of the toughest teams in the East. Not even the East. We're going to be one of the toughest teams in the entire NBA to take down. Try to stop us with a healthy Julius Randle, superstar point guard Jalen Brunson, newest addition Mikal Bridges, who we'll get to because he's been breaking out in practice, and you can see his game improving. And OG Anunoby, another year under his belt, the way he looks with this Knicks team, we are going to go very far. And Randle is going to be a huge part of it. So happy about this news. Shout out to Ian Begley. So happy that he gave us his update about Randle potentially coming back as soon as the regular season. But let's also continue here because you guys saw on that last slide, there was another piece there about the Knicks home games. I do want to talk about the Knicks opening season, or not opening season, the Knicks regular season schedule. It was announced yesterday. I wanted to look at it a little bit, get some key dates for you guys, because obviously I'm not going to break down each and every single date. That's 82 games, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put it on screen after the live. If you want to go back to this part and pause it and zoom in and watch it, you can do that. I'm not going to break down every game, but I do think we should break down a lot of these games that are at least important for the Knicks. And some of those games to talk about is going to come from our great friends at New York Basketball on the app X. If you're not following them, guys, that's going to be your best follow on X. Please make sure to do that. Let's take a look at the Knicks full season schedule. As you can see on the left-hand side, that's the Knicks full season schedule. It has all the dates there, all the key dates there in terms of, you know, if they win these games, what dates are the NBA Cups and all of that. What I'm going to focus on some of the dates you guys probably care about. September 30th, Media Day. You know what that means? Media Day means the Villanova boys are going to be posing and cheesing all together. Remember last year? Ryan, Josh, Dante, Brunson. You're going to see that again. And I promise you, some of you guys may not like to see those photos, but you're going to see them in a number because that's what's going to happen on Media Day. September 30th, mark it on your calendar. Circle it. You're not going to want to miss that. Let's keep it going. Training camp soon after that in Charleston. You know why they're going back there, right? Because the last time they went back there, they won 50-plus games. And this year, we're potentially on track to win 60-plus games. So I have no problem with that. Let's keep it going. October 6th for preseason opener against the Charlotte Hornets. October 22nd, season opener at Boston. October 25th, home opener versus the Pacers. I hope I see some of you guys there. I might be making an appearance at the home opener against Indiana. Definitely make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you're there because watching Jalen Brunson dance all over Tyrese Halliburton, there's no way I can miss that. Let's keep it going. Shout out to the chat gang. I see you guys. December 25th, did you guys know? I made a video on it already. Christmas Day. First game on the schedule, actually. Knicks at home at MSG. Welcoming Wembanyama and the Spurs. February 6th. Key date here. Trade deadline. You best believe the amount of videos that are going to come out from this channel during that time, I might break a record because there's going to be a lot of targets the Knicks are going to be looking at. One of those targets, Jonas Valanāiūnas. We will be making a little bit of a stop toward him during this live stream today because we have an update on him from Fred Katz, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. A couple of other key dates here. You have the All-Star games or All-Star break. Some people look at it differently. February 14th to the 16th, and then April 19th, where we will definitely be, the NBA playoffs. And I, guys, cannot wait for that. Those are your key dates for the NBA schedule for the Knicks moving forward into next season. Again, there's a lot of other games you can look at, back-to-backs, this and that. It goes on and on and on. You guys can break down the schedule, like I said, by yourself, but the key dates, we just went through them. Circle them on your calendars and make sure you are prepared for them. But a couple of other things that I normally get asked, because obviously I live in New York. I love going to games. I love going to the Garden. People ask me oftentimes, when do I normally go to the Garden? Well, when the schedule comes out, I look at the number of home games the Knicks play, and I also look at how many home games they play in a certain month. Depending on that number, I'll target that. And that's the type of month I'll usually book all my home games or a lot more games because I know the Knicks are going to be there for a while. And if you're looking at what potential date this channel will do a giveaway for Knicks tickets, and you're looking at potential dates we're going to give away, let me give you some information on that real quick. Shout out to Knicks Muse for giving us the following information. As they report, the Knicks 2024-2025 schedule from January 6th to February 3rd. Very key time frame there. The Knicks are at home. 14 straight home games. 14 straight home games. If you are wondering when the Knicks Recap channel is going to be giving away those tickets for a Knicks game, it's going to be at a home game. It's going to be for New Yorkers or anybody who can come to the New York area. And it will be for one of those games that we just went over in January to February. Make sure you remember that. And remember, this is exclusive only to members. If you want to get in on all of these giveaways, which we're going to do on a month-to-month basis now, starting this month and each and every month after, you're going to want to be a member. The way to do that, see the little join button there on the channel, on the screen right there as you're watching YouTube. You click on that, and then you have tiers you can choose. 3 different tiers. You pick one of those, and you become a member of this channel, unlock different perks, and more than anything else, you get a chance to be in the giveaway, get your chance in the hat, and potentially win something that you really like for the Knicks. Great opportunity, and we're going to start doing that a lot more on this channel, so I hope you guys like that. But that's going for this particular segment right now. You guys have been lit in the chat, gang. I got to go to you guys. I got to see what you guys have to say. So let's go to the chat, gang, see what you guys are talking about here today. All right, some comments before we go to our next topic today. Big Uso, I think is how we say it. Loving the shirt, man. Hey, I appreciate you. If nobody knows, and maybe I should do it one day, I am a big anime fan. I am a huge monstrous anime fan. Not only of Naruto, I watch everything, but shout out to you. Brian says, trade Mitchell Robinson, always hurt. You see what I'm talking about? By the way, for anybody who says that I start this or that I do it or I bring up Mitchell Robinson, I don't. I respond to the comments that you guys ask me or you guys state to me. I don't think Mitchell Robinson is going to be traded now if you're asking me. If you're really asking me, I think Mitchell Robinson, if he's even thought about being traded, Mitchell Robinson potentially would be traded during the trade deadline. It would never happen now. But I appreciate you, Brian. State of the Knicks says, let's go Knicks. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Fabian says, 12-2 in that stretch. I agree with you. Fabian, I am Guyanese. Thank you very much. T1000 says, let's go Knicks. Tony Riviera says, so am I. Love anime. Hey, listen, love all my anime fans. Love all the people who follow all of these different things because, again, anything that gives you happiness or entertainment, it's worth it, right? So I appreciate you. Just call me Nitro. Appreciate you. Says, I am. Not sure what that means. Great Britain, my guy, gives me a handshake. Handshake back to you, my brother. I appreciate you. Keep the comments coming. We'll go through a couple of more. And then when we're done with that, we're going to go to the next topic, which we have. And you're not going to want to miss that because we're going to be talking about the Knicks' interest in other bigs. And a lot of people don't like me talking about that topic, but it's not my fault. It's a report. The Knicks are doing it. I have to report it. Let's keep it going here. Big Goose says, let's go anime. I agree. Just Call Me Nitro says, Knicks 65 wins. I feel it. Listen, man, I'll say this as I drink my water. 65 wins for the Knicks. I believe it. Not because I'm wearing the Naruto shirt. Don't get it twisted. Not because of that. I truly believe that the Knicks could win 65 games because we have the roster, ladies and gentlemen. We finally have the roster where we can compete at that level. We can do it now. That's why I believe we can do it. But for me, my win total is around 62. Still close to 65, only 3 games off, but I believe it. We got a member in the house. Shout out to one of our members, D-Block. I appreciate you, my guy. He says, we just need a backup 5 that can play solid defense and score somewhat. I agree with that. I do. And that is going to be a great segue into our next topic here. So I appreciate you. And State of the New York Knicks says, what do you want the Knicks to go after as in terms of a backup big man? Great questions from State of the New York Knicks. Great question from my guy D-Block, who is a member, in terms of him saying, we just need a backup 5 that can play solid defense and score somewhat. So I'm going to answer all those questions by also going into our next topic because it's really relevant for that. You guys are absolutely correct. When you look at this roster from top to bottom right now, we have one final roster spot remaining. That one final roster spot, we can utilize the MLE to fill that roster spot with another player. Now, that player for me must be a backup big. But honestly, that's what I wanted. I didn't know if the Knicks wanted that. But again, because he comes in clutch for us each and every time, Ian Begley gave us some updates. And according to him, the Knicks are interested in bringing in another backup center. Let's go ahead and break down these latest reports for Begley and what he's saying about the Knicks and what they want to do at the backup center position. And don't kill me, guys, because I know a lot of you have a favor in mind in terms of Precious Achiuwa and the fact that right now he's the backup center. He is, but let's listen to Begley here. According to Begley, right now with Precious Achiuwa, he made a decision to waive the no trades clause. Now, according to Begley, I don't think he did that because the Knicks have a trade in place for later in the season. I assume he waived it as part of the negotiations with the Knicks that ended in a 1-year, $6 million contract. So at least according here to Begley, the reason that Achiuwa waived his no trade clause is likely because the Knicks paid him to waive his no trade clause. But nonetheless, the Knicks still having him waive his no trade clause is an indication that once December 15th comes up, that's when Precious Achiuwa is likely going to be traded, by the way, because again, that's when he's eligible to be traded. That's the only reason you have somebody sign a 1-year contract worth $6 million and have them waive their no trade clause because you have a plan in mind. But let's keep it going here. Begley continues here by stating, according to Sports Track, Achiuwa cannot be traded until December 15th. So it would be strange if the Knicks had a trade involving Achiuwa in place when they signed him. The Knicks did explore several options for the other backup centers earlier in the offseason via trade and free agency. Obviously, nothing came to fruition. They currently have Robinson, Achiuwa, and Jericho Sims as possible centers. Based on this, I assume the Knicks would continue to at least explore their options to acquire another big man. Let's stop right there. As you just heard, given where the Knicks are right now, they have the one roster spot remaining. They have the MLE, the mid-level exception. They have the ability to add another player to this roster. And according to Ian Begley and all the reports that we've been seeing, the Knicks are interested in adding another backup center. You can say whatever you want to say to me about Precious Achiuwa, the Knicks signing him to be the backup center. Yes, right now he's the backup center. Because if you look at the roster, the Knicks have more faith in Achiuwa than they have in Sims. That's why he's penciled in as the backup center. But if he was playing his traditional role, he would be backing up Julius Randle. The only way that can happen is if the Knicks go out there and use the MLE to get a backup big. And according to Ian Begley, they're looking to do that. And if they look to do that with the mid-level exception and they add a backup big to this roster, you move Achua back to his natural position, backing up Julius Randle. You have a legitimate center who has center-like instincts who can back up Mitchell Robinson. And as of right now, the Knicks obviously have targets available. One of the targets that they were rumored to be interested in was Omer Yurtseven. I hope I'm saying that name right. People were correcting me. Omer Yurtseven. And I believe that that guy, in terms of a backup center, I don't mind him at all because Omer, for me, works. He's cheap. He's low cost. He doesn't break the bank. Again, you could probably get him for less than the mid-level exception. And you could increase his value so he turns into a trade piece at the trade deadline. And if you can make a trade without having to touch your 9 core players or 10 core players, you have won as a Knicks franchise. Not only have you gotten better, but when you go into the postseason, you're going to have better pieces to move forward with. And that's the Knicks plan here. That's what they're trying to do. And again, going to more information here from Begley, as you can see here, he answered a question on his mailbag. And the question that was asked to him was, given the way Matthias Lasor has played in the Olympics for France and New York owning his draft rights, any reason he isn't looked at for a roster spot given the need at center? And according to Begley, who answered that question, it's a great question. Lasor played well during the Olympics. Well noted last week that the Knicks inquired about, he said, we noted last week that the Knicks inquired about Lasort's interest in signing with the team earlier in the offseason. The team and player could not find common ground. Lasort presumably would need to be bought out by his current contract with, I'm not even going to try to say the name, but I know it's a Greek team in Euro, so I'm going to say that. And he is under contract with that club for 2024, 2025. So as of right now, even if the Knicks wanted to go after Matthias and they wanted to get him on this team, and again, he did look good in stretches in the Olympics, but just because you look good in the Olympics doesn't mean it's always going to translate to the NBA. But the reason I would want the Knicks to go after him is because while offense doesn't translate, defense oftentimes does. And his defense, what you were watching during the Olympics, his defense impressed me because look at the type of players he was guarding. Like he wasn't guarding scrubs. He was getting pushed around, don't get me wrong, but he was holding his ground a lot. And I look at that. I look at that at players the Knicks are going to look at. And clearly, the Knicks look at that too because they wanted to add him. We have his draft rights back from the 2020 trade that we made with Kemba Walker. So clearly, we have the ability to bring him here. But we'd have to get some type of, I believe Ian Begley said some type of wave from his current team right now in Greece to let us say, hey, you guys can have him right now. You can play in the NBA. I think they wouldn't have a problem doing that, but the Knicks and Lasor would have to find common ground. They were not able to do that. I don't think they're going to, but it goes back to the same point I'm trying to make, right? With the Knicks. And what are they looking for? At each and every hurdle where they could, either in free agency, trade, even right now. Begley said this report came out a week ago. We did a video on it. All they're trying to do is still look for what? Backup centers to Mitchell Robinson because they understand. They've identified it. When you look at the roster, what is the weakest piece? It's center. It's not to say we're a bad team. We're not. We're contenders with Mitchell Robinson starting. What the argument is, how can we stay healthy and remain in that contender status while having a center at the 5 that is injury prone? You need to have insurance. And that's why a guy like Omer Yurtseven or another player like Bismack Biyombo or somebody to that tier who can play under a head coach like Tom Thibodeau, getting us a player like that fits. That helps us. It helps us now. And potentially, it could help us at the trade deadline if we increase their value. The Knicks have so many options here, but they need to utilize that mid-level. They cannot leave it to do nothing. It can't just do nothing out there. And I know a lot of you guys want us to play the rookies. I understand it. Ariel Huckaportis of the world. I get it. I hear you. But let me tell you something. Those guys are not going to get the time you think they're going to get. They're on two-way contracts for a reason. I'm looking at you, Ariel Huckaporty. And even if he did find time, if he's playing for the Knicks, something drastically wrong has happened. Something terrible has happened if he's playing, because that means we're dealing with a lot of injuries. So I would not want to see that at all. And speaking about rookies, because I always hear about the same kid from Summer League, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong. Dmytro Skapintsev in Summer League, the Ukrainian center for the Knicks during that time, he was one of the standout players for the Knicks. And a lot of people in my mentions, in the comments, sending me all sorts of messages saying, Troy, why aren't you talking about Skapintsev? Troy, why aren't the Knicks going after Skapintsev? I can answer that question pretty easily. I don't unfortunately have the photo available, but believe me when I say, if you look at his Instagram story, or I believe his Instagram account, he posted a picture recently. You want to know where he was? Wasn't with the Knicks. He was with the Portland Trailblazers. He was with that organization in training camp, likely for them. The Knicks did not offer Skapintsev a training camp invitation. And even if he did get one, I don't know if he would have carved out any time. Now, that's before we understand that Mitchell Robinson's likely going to miss time. Now that he's missing time, opportunity now exists. Maybe he could have fought for an opportunity and made a roster spot. We don't know, but now it seems we'll never know, because it looks like he got a training camp invitation from Portland. He might make their team in some type of capacity. And I know some fans are not going to like that news. Some fans will hate that update, but that's what it is. He probably has a training camp invitation from Portland. That's why he's at their facilities. That's why he's posting pictures there. And I don't think he's going to get that invitation or that chance with New York. I'm letting go of it at this point in time. I believe the Knicks have let go of it. They have Sims, they have Achua, and they have Robinson. That's your centers right there. Use the MLE. Get another center that you trust more than one of those guys, at least more than you trust Sims. So that way, when you get him on this team, you can have some insurance for Robinson if he goes down. I don't want him to go down. I don't want him to be injured. I don't want anything like that to happen. But if I look at his injury history, I know that it can happen. And if I'm a smart GM, if I'm a smart president, and I know Leon Rose to be that type of guy, he is going to plan for the future, plan ahead, and make sure he gets another player for insurance on this team. The only question is who that player is going to be. Who are they going to target? A lot of different names, but the only names I want the Knicks to look at is Omer Yurtseven and Bismack Biyombo. Those are the only names in terms of free agents I would want the Knicks to go after, because both of those guys fit the MLE right now. The Knicks could play them, increase their value, and utilize them as trade pieces come the trade deadline without having to touch any of their core pieces. You can utilize Achua, that MLE player, one of our protected picks, to go out there and get another player at the deadline. And that player at the deadline I want the Knicks to look at and target is Jonas Valanāiūnas. And recently, Fred Katz was talking about Valanāiūnas and potentially the Knicks' interest in him. Now, he didn't say whether the Knicks had interest in him or whether Valanāiūnas would join the team, but he did make a shocking claim that I want to go ahead and review with you guys and obviously react to. Let's go ahead and break that down right now. According to Fred Katz, he states the following: I am not obsessed with Valanāiūnas. I am not obsessed with the Valanāiūnas' hypothetical fit with the Knicks. Yes, he's a large body, and the Knicks could use one more of those. But I wouldn't advise they acquire someone only because he's a 7-footer. Valanāiūnas is a beast on the boards and can step out for the occasional three-pointer. Still, he's not a Thibodeau-style center. He's not deterring drivers from the basket. His impact last season never quite matched his counting stats. Other centers, including Achua, may fit New York's roster better. Could not believe that last statement. I don't know if you guys could. Let's read it again, because again, it shocked me. Other centers, including Achua, may fit this New York Knicks roster better than Jonas Valanāiūnas. Before I give my reaction, please, guys, leave a comment right now and let me know, if the Knicks got Jonas Valanciunas, would we be a better team? Would we be a worse team? Would you rather Achua be playing backup center or Jonas Valanciunas playing backup center? Because according to Katz, he would probably rather Achua over Valanciunas because he thinks he fits better. I definitely don't agree with that because, like he just said, what does Valanciunas do very well? Beast on the boards. Why has everybody forgotten this? And that's when he had a role as a scorer. If he came to the Knicks and he was a backup center, his role wouldn't be scoring. His role would be rebounding the ball, cleaning up inside, and maybe passing the ball occasionally. Because, yes, he can pass the ball. Have we forgotten? Has nobody remembered what Valanciunas is like? How he can play the occasional three? Leave him open. Put him in the corner and leave him open and see what happens. You have to throw a defender at him. That was ludicrous. I could not believe that take from Katz. Achua over Valanciunas? Achua over Valanciunas? Valanciunas definitely can hit the three ball better than Achua. Achua may be a better defender than Valanciunas is, but I'll say this about Valanciunas. If he came to this team, he would be a better defender under Tom Thibodeau. I'm not sure what that would adequate to, but guess what? If my main starting center is a defender and not really an offensive player, I have no problem at all if my second player off the bench in terms of a center is somebody who's a monster on the boards and very good on offense and maybe some par on defense. Remember, iHeart had the same type of criticism going into last season. Who's going to back up Mitchell Robinson? Okay, I guess we got iHeart. Well, his defense is shaky, but you know what? He is good on offense, and he's going to get you rebounds. A lot of us were saying that exact same thing. Jonas Valanciunas is offering the same thing with a three-point shot, and he's taller. He supports this team now and can help us moving forward. And let's say it doesn't work out. Let's say we don't get a chance to trade for Valanciunas, right? Or we trade for him, and it doesn't work the way it should work. You're not telling me that we can't recoup our value and trade him, if not for more, the same amount? Because I think we could. He is making around $11 million per year right now on a 3-year contract. Very worth the risk, in my opinion, especially if you're only giving up Achua, the MLE player, and the Washington protected pick. Yes, the Washington protected pick. That's why the Wizards would do the trade. That's why the Knicks should explore this trade, because getting a guy like Valanciunas for that trade is a heist. It's a steal, because that's the type of player Valanciunas is. He would be backup, not starting, backup to Mitchell Robinson. And Katz is saying that Achua would be better? I love Fred Katz, and I review a lot of his articles, and I trust his sources, and I trust what he says. Trust me when I say that. It's not a hate toward him. But when he said this, I could not believe it. He's right, by the way, that Valanciunas is not a Thibodeau-style center, but Thibodeau demands his centers to rebound. And Valanciunas is aggressive on the rebound on both ends, offensively and defensively. That's what Thibodeau wants. That's why I understand he's not the traditional Tom Thibodeau player, but don't tell me he's not a Thibodeau player or he can't become one or he doesn't have the skill set right now that could lead itself to a type of Thibodeau-style player. He has it. And this is why the Knicks should target him. Again, Fred Katz, love him as an NBA insider. Crazy take for me. Let's go to your comments, though, see what you guys have to say, because I really want to see where your comments lie. Do you guys agree with me, potentially? Do you guys agree with Fred Katz? This is going to be great. Let's go into the comments and see what you guys have to say. Go into the chat real quick. And shout out to the chat gang. You guys have been lively. You guys have been active. You guys have been going in, and I appreciate that. The energy you give me, I promise you, I will give it back to you tenfold. I feed off of that. Not only because I love the Knicks and I love this team, but I love the community that we've built here as well, too. So I appreciate you guys. Give me a second here as well. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I didn't go too far there. Okay, because that's the next topic we're going to be talking about. I can't wait to get into that one as well. But let's go to the chat gang here. We got another member in the house, the real Django. Appreciate you. Valanāiūnas. That's his comment. He says, LOL. Listen, man, Valanāiūnas for me is the answer. He's the key. He's the guy off the bench that you want because he's the best fit in terms of cost, and you don't have to kill yourself to get him because the Wizards already want to make him available. It's a match made in heaven, in my opinion. Let's keep it going here. Great question, and thank you for being a member. If you want to be a member too, hit that join button. Hit that join button, and then you can also be included for all of the great giveaways we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing Knicks ticket giveaways in January for some home games in January. If you want to be part of that, you got to be a member. If you want to be part of this month's giveaway, you got to be a member. I'm not going to tell you exactly what this month's giveaway is, but I'll give you a hint. It's a fitted. It's not one of my fitteds, though. It's a New York Knicks fitted that I'm going to get from Fanatics. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we get one of those for one of our members, whoever wins the giveaway. And the crazy part is you don't have to do anything besides be a member. That's all. So if you're a member already, you're good. Your name's already included. And if we have 5 members, you have a better chance to win. So I'm letting everybody know now. Yeah, have a good chance to win if the members are low. But if you want to get your name included in all the giveaways you're going to be doing, put your name in the hat. Join the membership. Join the Knicks Recap channel. Get yourself a specialized badge as well, too. You'll be featured on the channel. And anytime I see a comment from you, you know I'll prioritize it. You know how I do. Let's keep it going here, though. KGMV says 170 views, only 43 likes. Yeah, man. What's going on? Don't I say smash that like button enough? Do I have to repeat the beginning again? I thought I did a good job of that. I mean, I could do it again. Let's try it, okay? A little part of it anyways. Guys, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel and leave comments below. I think that was good, right? Okay, good. Make sure you are smashing that like button, guys. Again, the more you smash the like button, it helps the algorithm. It puts us in there and make sure everybody sees us. So your support goes a long way. Thank you so much for that support. Let's keep it going. State of the Knicks says, let's get those likes up, fam. Yes, I appreciate you. Icon got you, I think, right? I don't know what that says. I think that's what your name is. I'm just going to say you. You says, Randle getting traded. Randle is not getting traded. No. Randle is not getting traded because there's nobody to trade Randle for. Okay? If there was somebody to trade Randle for, trust me, I would say it. But there is nobody. Nobody worth it. Nobody worth a dang thing that could touch Randle and his impact for this team. So to answer your question, no. But thanks for your comment. I appreciate you. Let's keep it going here. New Lord says, Valanāiūnas is a monster scorer. Yes, and we have a monster defender in Mitchell Robinson. The perfect complement. The perfect complement to Robinson is a guy like Valanāiūnas. You want to go ahead and give Mitchell Robinson all of his flowers on defense? Then somebody better give all of the flowers to Valanāiūnas. He better get some flowers. Just saying. Appreciate you. Let's keep it going. Rejected says, yes, sir. I appreciate you. Baller says, I'm the 48th like. Hey, I appreciate that. Darlene with the laughing face. Hey, anytime I can give the community a little bit of entertainment, I can put a little joy in your life, I love to do it. So I appreciate that. Everybody laughing. Our member, the real Django, says, like. Yes, please do that. We need Randle to run it back. You see, everybody understands it. Everybody understands what I'm saying. Knicks GM, don't start. Knicks GM, you know we're cool. We're always cool, even though we disagree. Don't start with me on this Randle stuff, okay? I'm even more hype. You missed the return news? You missed the return of Randle? He's coming back either during the preseason or definitely to start the regular season opener. Best believe me, he's going to have a monster year. Rejected knows. Rejected is saying it. We need Randle back to run it back. We do. Randle is a major part of this piece, and we have the best roster to surround him with. I'm not going to get into this. You're not going to get me mad today. Not today. I'm not getting mad today. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm. John, I'll go to you real quick. Mark my words. Let Randle shake the rust off, and he will be in beast mode this year and in the playoffs. John gets it. John gets it. And he's in a contract year. He's in a contract year. Knicks GM, he's in a contract year. He's in a contract year. And we have the best roster around him. Don't talk. I don't want to hear nothing about trading Randle at least until next offseason. Randle is not available. Off the list. X, gone, not available. There's no one that I would trade Randle for that is available now. I will wait until next offseason, and I'll stand on that. Nope. Nobody. I'm trading Randle for nobody at all. Okay? Don't make me sing again. Don't make me sing again. Okay? I'm just saying. You said something. I'm just looking at the comments, Knicks GM. You my guy. I didn't say you weren't my guy. You're my guy. I'm just saying. I saw your comment. You said foolious. I don't appreciate the foolious. Okay? The foolious got me like this. Remember. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let's go, JR from Darlene. I appreciate that. Carl says, do you think McBride should play the small forward position instead of the guards position? No. Definitely not. Not at all. You want McBride to play the small forward position rather than shooting guard? There is no way. No way I would want anything to do with McBride at the 3. That sounds really bad. I mean, I guess you'd probably try to. What lineup are you trying to do there? You're trying to do Kolek, Payne, and McBride and Dante. Like, what are you trying to do there? Who are you trying to put in around? Are you trying to put Dante at the point guard? I'm just trying to understand what the lineup would be because I don't understand why I would ever put McBride at the 3. And the Knicks already said they want him as shooting guard, so I would think he comes off the bench as shooting guard. Let me know what lineup you want him in, I guess. That doesn't make sense to me. The Knicks would be at a heavy disadvantage if McBride is at the 3, honestly. I would not want to see that. But I appreciate you. Got a lot of laughing emojis in here. Appreciate that. Who on the Celtics can stop bully ball Randle or Brunson for that matter? Not a lot of people. Derek White is a good name. Drew Holiday is a good name. But when we're healthy, good luck. Good luck. Appreciate the laughing emojis. Knicks Galaxy says, oh no, I think that's a comment in the McBride at the 3. Let's see. Drip says, let's go Juju. Appreciate you. Knicks 100 says, he said, foolish though, put me on full blast. Listen, man, you think I don't see the comments. Just because I don't read all the comments doesn't mean I don't look at all the comments. Huh? Right? I thought you could slide it in there. Thought I wouldn't see the foolish. I saw the foolish. My eyes work. I saw foolish, Knicks GM. You ain't playing tricks with me. The real Django says, this team unity and gritness are what it's going to take for us to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Absolutely. Lex the Destroyer says, my ears are bleeding, but salute on the check-in from the grind. I appreciate you. Hey, listen, don't blame me for my volume, okay? If you want to blame me for my volume, blame the people that got me this way. I was calm before they started the whole foolish thing. So if you want to put anything on me, find the person who said it. It wasn't me. I didn't say it. I didn't say it to myself. Don't blame me. But I appreciate you. I'm very happy you guys are enjoying the stream, enjoying the conversation and the back and forth between me and Knicks 100. By the way, again, this is what the community is about. That's why I want everybody part of the community, because this is what we give each other: the entertainment, the unity, the excitement, but also the information, the news, the reason you watch. And speaking on that, we're going to go to the last comment here from Carl, and then we're going to go to our next topic because it's a great one, and we definitely have to talk about it today. Carl says, in my opinion, Brunson is a dark horse for winning MVP. I appreciate that comment, Carl. And if I'm being honest, I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about what Jalen Brunson and his next level was going to be. Superstar last year. I don't think that's anybody's going to argue with me with that. What's the next ceiling for Brunson now? Is the next ceiling for Brunson maybe making all NBA again or making all-star again? Or is it being consistent in where he is in MVP voting? And for me, it's MVP voting. SGA made the jump that nobody thought he could make and jumped and solidified himself in the MVP conversation. I don't have the expectation that Brunson is going to do it. I have the feeling, the want that Brunson is going to accomplish that and be one of the very few Knicks to ever do that on a consistent basis. I mentioned Randle has the best team around them, right? You know, the other player who has the best team around him? Jalen Brunson. Penetrate and create to who now? OG, Mikal, Dante, Josh Hart, Deuce McBride. If he's open in the paint, Mitchell Robinson. Playing pick and roll, Precious Achiuwa. The options are ridiculous. Where Jalen had one or two before, he has several now. Brunson, with several options, I'm expecting an MVP caliber season. And Brunson has all the tools in his arsenal to do it. But moving on to our next topic, because it's very important. One of the other things to talk about, because we've been talking about the Knicks and their feelings about what they have in terms of depth at the center position. We already know with Mitchell Robinson, the likelihood of Robinson potentially going down with an injury again is high, given his track record. So what is going to be the case? What are the Knicks going to do if that happens? Do they have a plan in place in case Mitchell Robinson goes down with injury? Well, thanks to the Athletic's Fred Katz, we actually have some information on that via his mailbag. He answered the question more or less about the Knicks and what they were looking to do with Mitchell Robinson. So let's go ahead and break down those latest reports from Fred Katz here today. This was the question asked to Fred Katz. Fred, the front office knows what the fans know. You can't count on Mitch to play a full season. How does the team solve this issue if Mitch gets hurt early? Camp or November or later, December to the deadline? This is what Kat had to say. Here's my guess. Precious Achiuwa moves into the starting lineup, slotting alongside Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Julius Randle. Jericho Sims enters the rotation. And at times, the Knicks go smaller at the 5 than they have ever done before in the Tom Thibodeau era. Achiuwa already is not your ideal rim protector. His defensive strength comes away from the basket, where Thibodeau will use him to switch onto various types of opponents. If Robinson weren't available, I could see the Knicks playing around with matchups. Now, playing around with matchups, you heard what he said. One of the plans the Knicks could do if Robinson goes down is have Achiuwa enter the starting lineup and Jericho Sims be the backup. And even though Jericho Sims will be the backup, the plan could also be for the Knicks to play other players at the backup 5 spot other than Achiuwa. That way Achiuwa gets some rest and they also don't lose any type of impact from the 5. It is going to be difficult though, because if you're putting other players whose natural position is not the 5 spot and you're asking them to play the 5 spot, it is going to be difficult. You cannot teach those center instincts. Sure, some players can play different positions, but some players should play one position. And I think we might have to see that sometimes next season if Mitchell Robinson is injured. But it gets more interesting here if you look at what Fred Katz is talking about. He continues by stating, for example, even when Achiuwa is on the court, Anunoby could be the one guarding centers. Similarly to how the Knicks deployed him during Game 4 of their first round series against the Philadelphia 76ers this past spring, when Robinson was hurt and Isaiah Hartenstein was in foul trouble and Achua had to play the 5. In that instance, Anunoby manned MVP Joel Embiid and Achua stuck the forward Tobias Harris. So as you can see there, the Knicks could definitely do that if they do not trust who they have at the backup 5 spot. Let's say they like Mitchell Robinson, but they don't want Achua playing that spot. What they could do is they could have Achua play that spot in theory, but then on the other end, we could have OG Anunoby switch and he would be the one guarding centers. Now, if that's the case, if the Knicks wanted to do that because they didn't trust the backups, or they wanted to do that because Mitchell Robinson is missing time, I don't mind that, but I do want to say I don't mind it in stretches. I don't mind if I see it in maybe 60 minutes, in 6 minutes or 7 minutes, or maybe at most 8 minutes. I won't have a problem with that. But if we're talking about seeing it for a full quarter, starting with that lineup, I would not want to do that. I think that would give us a huge disadvantage. If we have the players who are centers, have the size at centers, have the defensive instincts as centers, and can play that role properly, that's what I would want to do. I still would rather the Knicks use the MLE and get a backup center that we trust, that knows how to play center on this team. That way we don't have to force anybody out of position. We can have them play their natural role. And oftentimes, when you have players play their natural role, they're going to thrive. Not to say they couldn't thrive in other areas, but why take the risk if you don't have to? The Knicks don't have to do this. If they're doing this, it's because they're choosing to do this. They have the ability to add insurance right now, and I hope they do that. But it is important to understand the Knicks do have a plan here. If they don't use the MLE, they start the regular season today. This is the roster they have. The depth at center is Mitchell Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, and Jericho Sims. The plan is going to be, if Robinson goes down and he misses a chunk full of games, Achiuwa will start, Sims will be the backup, and maybe, depending on the matchup, the Knicks are going to experiment what they do at the 5 spot. Maybe some nights you'll see Anunoby guarding that spot. Maybe sometimes you'll only see Achiuwa do that. Maybe sometimes you'll see other players playing that spot, and the Knicks go even smaller. The Knicks will have options. Tom Thibodeau needs to be the coach to implement them, and that's what I'm going to be watching a lot this year. I've already said, for the Knicks to go all the way to the NBA Finals, sacrifice is needed. You're never going to get there if you don't sacrifice. And with the team we have, you need to sacrifice to make sure you're getting the best and getting the most out of everyone's capabilities. So sacrifice is a must. That also goes for the center position. So that may mean some nights Achiuwa may not see that spot because the Knicks feel more comfortable riding out a different double duo out there. Maybe it's not Achiuwa and OG. Maybe it's Josh Hart and OG. We've already seen Josh Hart play the backup 4. Is it crazy to think we wouldn't see that again? Could it be Mikal and OG? I can see that happening as well too. So many different combos and combinations. But this is the plan for the Knicks if Robinson goes down. And while it doesn't give me a lot of hope or confidence, it does ease my mind just a little bit to know that the Knicks are at least planning ahead and thinking to themselves, if this could happen, what do I do? It's not the best scenario, and honestly, it's not the best solution. But if this is what they're doing, who am I to argue it? Who am I to say anything about it? If you're going to try to do this and make the best out of a bad situation, I am all for it. And honestly, in some matchups, it could work. It worked in the playoff series against Philly. It might work against other teams in the league. The Knicks are that strong this year. We have that type of roster this year. We are that good this year. Put some respect on the Knicks and start talking about us the right way, because we have the roster that you need to start respecting. And you need to understand, we're not only legitimate contenders in the East, we are legitimate contenders in the entire NBA, going all the way to the NBA Finals. We're one of the best teams in the league. We all need to remember that, think about that, and the league needs to consider us exactly that. That's the respect that we deserve. But let's continue here, because speaking about that respect, speaking about people talking about us the right way and saying things the right way and making sure they're giving us our flowers, somebody I thought who would never speak about Jalen Brunson again, but recently he was caught speaking about Brunson, is Mark Cuban. That's right. Dallas owner, well, part Dallas owner now. And again, somebody who made the decision to not pay Brunson, and the rest was history. And speaking about him, Mark Cuban made some shocking comments on Brunson and his impact for the Knicks. If he was shocked by it, if he thought it could happen, all of these great things. Before we get to that, we have a super chat that we just have to get to. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, I don't think it's a super chat. I believe it's a member, but I want to go ahead and shout him out anyways. Shout out to J Tap. Welcome to the Rising Star membership. My guy, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the show as a member. And now, officially, you are included to each and every giveaway we are doing moving forward for this channel. The giveaway for this channel this month, which is a fitted Knicks hat that we're going to be getting from Fanatics. And also the giveaway of Knicks tickets that we're going to be doing in January as well, too, for the home games. You guys are not going to want to miss that. Make sure you're a member. Very easy. You see the join button over there. Hit join. It'll tell you what access level you want. Pick any level, and then you're going to unlock so many different benefits. You're also going to get a cool custom badge. And if I see your comments on screen, you're going to get prioritized just like the super chats. So I appreciate you, Jay. Thank you so much. And yo, my guy, I got to say it again. The support means everything. Well, let's go ahead and continue with the report that we were doing here in terms of Mark Cuban and his comments about Jalen Brunson, because we already know Mark Cuban talking about Jalen Brunson and him talking about his impact. If he expected it, you know, I was all ears. I'm sure you guys were all ears, because you know me, I like to find the haters. I look for the hater alerts. I search for them and I try to find them. But I'm happy to say Mark Cuban, actually not a hater. Let's break down the following comments from Cuban and what he said about Jalen Brunson. That's not the wrong slide. Let's go to the right slide. There we go. Oh, there we go. Don't know why that happened there. There's always something that goes on with these slides sometimes, and I just wanted to make sure there's nothing else. But let's go ahead and continue. According to Sports Illustrated, on The Daily Show on Tuesday, the show's host, prominent Knicks fan Jon Stewart, asked Cuban if he had any idea Brunson would become this all-NBA phenomenon, and he responded bluntly, citing Brunson's draft position. According to Cuban, no idea. I mean, he was talented, but he wasn't picked in the second round. If everybody knew he would have been a top 5 pick, I mean, if you redraft that draft right now, other than Luka, he is a top 3 or 5 pick. But more credit to him, he worked on it. That is the key right there. I can't say anything about Mark Cuban after he says that. He gave him his praise. He didn't say, yeah, I always knew, and lied. He didn't lie. He told us straight. I didn't know Jalen was going to be that good. And if I'm redrafting today, Jalen's going there as a top 3 or top 5 pick. That's giving your flowers. That's making sure you're showing your respect. And that's also saying you have no hard feelings at all. I appreciated those comments. He could have hated in that moment. He could have took that moment and took a shot at the Knicks. The Knicks are a very good team this year. We're one of the best teams in the league. A lot of teams are gunning for us. They do not like us. And Cuban could have been one of those guys that hated on us, but he didn't do that. But I do want to mention a report that you also saw on that slide. According to ESPN's Tim McMahon, he said the following when he was on Knicks Film School. Shout out to John Macri and the great people over there. He said the following. He believes that if Jalen Brunson had stayed in Dallas, there was a high likelihood that the team would have traded him to Brooklyn for Kyrie Irving. So he would have been in New York anyways, but he would have been across the bridge. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that trade happened? If that went down and he was traded to Brooklyn? What that story could look like? I don't even want to think about it. It's a nightmare. I'm so happy that it never happened. And I believe I believe him completely. They would have absolutely got in Kyrie Irving in one way or another. And Brunson would have been that player they traded to get Kyrie on that team. Dallas would have looked pretty similar. The Knicks, not so much. I am so happy history happened the way it did. And for me, if I saw Mark, if I was saying anything about Mark, the one thing I would say, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for doing everything you did and making the decisions you made to give us the phenom in Jalen Brunson. That's all I would say to him. No hate, all smiles from ear to ear. I would say thank you. I would shake his hand. If I had the money on me, I would buy him a cup of coffee. That's how much I appreciate the fact that we have Jalen Brunson and we didn't have to live through that hell. We didn't have to live through that reality. We are in a very good time to be a Knicks fan. So happy about that. And shout out to Tim McMahon from ESPN for giving us that update about what Dallas would have done if they kept Brunson. But shout out to Cuban for giving us those comments. He wasn't done, though, by the way. Cuban gave us some other comments as well. He stated, during his interview with Jon Stewart, Mark Cuban also touched on the fan reception he receives in New York, given the Mavericks and the Knicks history. According to Cuban, I like to walk in New York. And just today, walking down the street, a fan said, yeah, Cuban, we love you. It's crazy, Cuban said. Literally, great basketball fans here, and I get all kinds of love. And then he followed up that by saying, yeah, but now it's more thanks for JB, right? But yeah, that's what I get. So according to him, according to Cuban, anytime he talks to Knicks fans around New York, or he speaks to any Knicks fan at all, they all do the same thing that I was saying to do. They thank him. They appreciate him. They love the fact that we have Jalen Brunson, and that's exactly what he gets thanked for. The fact that he messed up so badly. Didn't pay Jalen Brunson that extension when he could. Tried to use him as trade bait. Failed massively. And then Jalen comes to New York, becomes a superstar, and then takes the biggest discount you've ever seen from a superstar to ever do it, leaving $113 million on the table to give the Knicks flexibility. What did he want to do with Dallas? Leave a lot of money on the table to give them flexibility. This is Jalen. This has always been Jalen. This has never been a surprise. That's why I was about 90% sure Jalen was going to take less and sign with the Knicks, because that's Jalen's character. It's always been his character. He always is that type of guy. That's why he's our captain. That's why he's our leader. And that's why he's going to be one of the people that leads us to a championship. I believe that in my heart. Jalen Brunson is one of those special players. And Mark Cuban just told you, if we were redrafting today, he would be 3 or 5 between that in that year's draft. That's the crazy jump that Brunson has done. Think about that for a second. Think about that. Second round pick. And the guy that drafted him is telling you, if I had to do it all over again, knowing what I know, Brunson is between 3 and 5. And where was Luka? Incredible. Incredible player in Jalen Brunson. Incredible comments from Mark Cuban. No hate to be no hate to be found. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what we've all been waiting for. This is why we're here. We have been suffering and disrespected basically my entire life as a Knicks fan. And even now, we get disrespected. But you know what? The disrespect tastes a little bit different, and it's a lot lower. The disrespect sounds like this. Imagine if Troy, recap as they call me, talk like this, you guys wouldn't watch my show. You guys wouldn't watch this person. You guys wouldn't watch me talking like this. This wouldn't work. You would want me to be as excited and as hyped as you feel about this team. And that's what I give you. That's what Brunson gives you. That's what this team gives you. That's the energy I feel from this team. You gotta love it. I love it too. The last topic I want to do today before we close out the show, and of course, end with your comments, talk about what you guys want to talk about, and answer any questions you want to ask me. We got to talk about the newest Knick, not talking about campaign. He does not get enough credit. After the trade happened with Mikal Bridges, everybody was hyped. Everybody was jumping up and down. Everybody was going crazy about it. Some people said it was an overpay. Some people said it was the perfect thing that we needed to do. It was the perfect piece, the final piece of this team that we needed. And some people were in between. But you know what a lot of people didn't say? You know what a lot of people didn't give him credit for? What he can do on offense. All we heard, yes, we got Mikal. Our defense is going to be stifling. Imagine OG and Mikal on defense. It's going to be amazing. That's true. It is going to be amazing on defense. But have we forgotten that Mikal Bridges is going to be the third or fourth option on this team on offense? That Mikal Bridges is going to be exactly what we need on offense. And you don't have to take my word for it. Take the word of his trainer who's been working with him day in and day out. Let's take a look at what he had to say about Mikal Bridges and his breakout season that he's likely going to have next year. Let's break this down real quick. Shout out to trainer Seth Brunner on IG for giving us the following information. Great work with Mikal Bridges this week. Coming off another excellent season, Mikal is poised for a big-time year and is set to make a major impact on both sides of the ball for the Knicks this season as one of the most dynamic two-way wings in the league. You heard what he said, right? His trainer that works with him day in and day out is telling all of us that Mikal is poised for one of his best years in his entire career. And what a time to have that year when you're joining the Knicks on this championship run that we have. Best feeling ever to hear it. But you know what? Hearing it is great, and I love to hear that. And I believe it because I know Mikal Bridges is never going to abandon the work. He's kind of like Jalen Brunson in that same vein. They never avoid the work. They jump into it, and they try to maximize their games to get better. And Mikal Bridges is one of those guys. You guys think he's going to be one of the best defenders on the Knicks. He is. I'm going to make the argument he's going to be one of the best offensive players for the Knicks. And the reason why, or one of the reasons why, is videos like this. Let's roll that clip real quick so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about Mikal Bridges and what he's doing. Because you guys are not ready. You guys are not ready for what Mikal Bridges is about to do. And I don't think he's getting the respect that he deserves. Let's break it down real quick. Get it real quick. It's loading real quick. Let's get it loading. Okay. There we go. All right. There you go. Mikal Bridges working on the shot. Look at that. Working on the handle. Working on the mid-range. Want to talk about it? Uh-oh. 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 Where you going? Where you going? Mid-range pull-up. Nobody wants to talk about it, though. Show it off. Show it off. Get him. Get him, boys. Show it off. Look at him, man. And everybody's disrespecting him like he's not going to be a great offensive player. He is cooking, and I know it's practice, but look at what he can give you. Look at what he's capable of. To the rim, he can do that all day. He can shoot. He can pull up. The handles are there still behind the back. Pull-up jumper. He has it all. He can shoot the three. He can go around his defender. His mid-range is going to be crazy as well, too. Look at that. I know people are going to look at the shot, the little hitch in the shot that he has right there. He has always had that shot. I will say that. I'm not saying he's never been somebody to not have that shot. He has. But like we've seen before, let's not judge a shot by its cover. If we were doing that, right, we can go back to Tyrese Halliburton and everything Tyrese Halliburton was doing for the Knicks, right? In terms of the draft spot. And we were looking at him during that draft and him shooting the way he was, that broken shot. But look at him now. He's one of the better three-point shooters in the league. So don't let the shot fool you. A lot of the times, the shot doesn't have to look pretty. As long as the basketball goes in, as long as he can pull up for the mid-range, he can shoot the jumper, he can go all the way in, take contact, get to the line. As long as he can do all that and be a force for us on the offensive side, I have no problem at all with this. And I think Mikal Bridges is going to be able to give you all of that this season. You're seeing it now. You're able to see what he's capable of now. We saw it in Phoenix. We saw it to an extent when he got traded there for the first time in Brooklyn. We saw it fall off a little bit when he was the first option for the Nets, but he's the third or fourth option for the Knicks. His value and what he means to this team is going to skyrocket. And the plays you're seeing right here, the pull-up mid-ranges, going all the way into the paint, jumping, shooting that three-point shot in the corner at the perimeter. He's going to be able to do all of that and more because of the team that we have, the roster that we have. Mikal Bridges, a lot of people are discounting what impact he's going to have. You saw the dribble, you saw the handles, you saw the three-point shot, you saw the mid-range. Everybody thought we were getting one of the best defenders. We are. But he's also a very good offensive player, a very good three-point shooter, a very good player in terms of passing the ball, getting others involved, making sure he sees the court well. And he's working on his game now only to get better while he knows his role is still going to be a 3 or a 4 on this team. Mikal Bridges is poised to have that breakout season for the Knicks that we've all been waiting for. That season with the Suns, after they went all the way to the finals, I think everybody expected Mikal to jump, to vault to a territory we never saw because of the roster that they were creating. Fast forward to today, we are giving Mikal the ability to have that same type of impact because we have that same type of roster. Maybe an even better roster because it's younger and it has the ability to last the test of time, really, for years and years to come. We're likely going to keep this roster together for years and years to come. So with all of that in mind, us understanding all of that right now, I think it's pretty safe to say, guys, I think it's pretty safe to say that Mikal Bridges is going to be a phenomenal player for us next season. He is going to break out. He is going to show us one of the best years we ever saw, not only on offense, but on defense as well, too. And things like this make you understand why. He doesn't abandon the work. He knows he's not going to get that many touches next season, right? It's going to be the Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson show. Throw in a couple of touches there for Dante, a couple of touches there for OG, and yes, a couple of touches there for Mikal. But that's a couple of touches. But he wants to make sure when he has it and he has the ball in his hands, he's not going to miss. He's not going to make that moment not matter. He's going to take full advantage of it. And that's why you work on his game. So hype, so excited. I cannot wait for the season to start. I am hype for training camp. I am hyped for media day. I am hyped for preseason. And I'm already hyped for our season opener against the Celtics, our home opener against the Pacers. This Knicks team, you have never seen a team like this before. You want to know how I know that? Because I have never seen a team like this before. We have one of the best teams in the NBA, one of the best teams to do damage in the league, and we are this close from breaking the drought, breaking the 50-plus year drought, and getting a championship home where it belongs in New York City. Better yet, in MSG. Better yet, in Madison Square Garden. Better yet, with the New York Knicks. It's our time. It's our moment. And we finally have the roster to capitalize on everything everything. And next season, tick-tock, NBA, you're on notice. Notice that the Knicks are running through you and every team we face. It's a new day. It's a new era. It's a new time. New York, we here. It's our time, baby. New York is in the building. Well, let's go to your comments because that's going to do it for today's show. I hope you guys have rode with me this entire time. You love what you saw. I hope I gave you guys a lot of entertainment. We're about at the 2:21 mark, so I want to go ahead and jump to the chat real quick. I want to make sure I get to your comments. That's very important to me. And I want to make sure we break down your favorite parts of the show. Any questions you have for me, any comments you have for me, anything you want me to answer, anything like that. I want this part of the show to be part of that. Like you guys always know, this is how I close out my show, by making the best part of everything that I do, the community, one of the best parts and the biggest parts of my show. So let's go to you guys. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see what you guys have to talk about with me, what comments you have to talk about. Let's keep it going. Rob Chin says, I don't know, man. Mikal may usurp Jules. Don't be surprised. I'm not going to be. On some nights, Mikal Bridges will play more minutes than Julius Randle in terms of the offensive threat. I believe that. And that's why I said sacrifice. If you notice, sacrifice goes all those ways. Sacrifice goes to Julius Randle. It goes to Jalen Brunson. But it's also go to Mikal as well, too. When Mikal has the hot hand, or maybe he just has a better matchup, the Knicks are obviously going to take advantage of that. And if that night he has the hot hand, it's going to be the Bridges show. But on other nights, it'll be the Brunson show. It'll be the Randle show. It'll be the Dante show. It's all about what we can do in that moment against the team that we're facing. The team that we're facing is going to dictate whose night it's going to be, because the Knicks, more than anything before, have the ability to take advantage of matchups. And we're not really ever going to be at a disadvantage when it comes to matchup. And our switching is going to be incredible. That's why this Knicks team is going to be any night. It's going to be any other player's time. And I think that's going to be speaking volumes to Jalen, to Julius, and their actual games. When you take away somebody's offense, they're legit. One of their best things that they do. When you take it away, not fully, but you limit it in a way. What did they have left? That's what we're going to see from Randle, and we're going to see it from Brunson. And honestly, man, I think they have a lot, and I think they're going to offer a lot. So, in my opinion, that's what you're going to see. But good comment. Big Dave says, Bridges is the perfect fit for this team. He's the perfect fit. The final piece. He is the final piece to this team. He's always been the final piece to this roster, in my opinion. I said it even before the Knicks made the trade. I had a top three. If you guys remember, it was Mikal, Devin Booker, and Donovan Mitchell. And after everything was said and done, Leon Rose got the job done, and he got us Mikal Bridges. I don't know, man. I was very happy to see that happen. And I think I agree with you. Not only I think, I know I agree with you. Mikal Bridges is the final piece. I agree with that comment. Thank you, brother. Let's keep it going. Knicks 100 GM says his pick and fade gonna be crazy. All that misdirection handle he got gonna be a nightmare to guess if it's a dive or pop. Listen, Knicks GM, I hope you're talking about Julius Randle because he's gonna give everybody headaches, especially Jalen Brunson. But if you're talking about Mikal Bridges as well too, Mikal is also gonna give them problems. You see, all the things you're saying right now, Knicks GM, you can say that for Randle, you can say it for Jalen, you can say it for both of those guys, because the same advantages that Mikal can take over on, I think Jalen and Julius can do the exact same thing. That's why on any given night, you're going to see one of those guys go off. And I think Mikal Bridges, oftentimes than not, he might be one of the leading scorers on the Knicks. And I'll stand on that because I think he's going to be open in the corner a lot because they're going to try to double team Jalen and they're going to try to double team Julius. So he's going to have a lot of free time on his hands, in my opinion. But I appreciate that, and I appreciate the comment. Let's keep it going here. Member, the real Django says, I'm happy the football season is about to start. My fantasy teams are ready, but I'm so damn ready for the Knicks to start playing. Listen, man, for anybody who didn't see it, as you can see, we have some key dates on the table here. The Knicks preseason opener is going to be against Charlotte on October 6th. I can't even wait for that. Give me a second, guys. I'm drinking a little bit of water. Okay, let's keep it going here. So as you can see with the key dates, you have Media Day, training camp, preseason opener, and obviously the October 22nd opener against Boston at Boston. And then our home opener against Indiana on the 25th of October. December 25th, Christmas against the Spurs. February 6th, trade deadline. And then February 14th, the 16th, you got the NBA All-Star Games. So again, a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to focus on. But I do think these are the key dates to look at for the Knicks. And yes, I agree with you, man. I cannot wait until the Knicks start playing basketball. It's too long, Django. Way too long. Can't wait. I'll keep it going here. Knicks 100, a GM says, you see how cleanly Bridges changes momentum and direction. Bridges going to get all the foul calls that left with RJ. Listen, I am happy with Mikal Bridges being on this team. He is going to be a monster. I absolutely believe that. I agree with you. I think he's going to be better than most people are actually expecting him to be. But we also have to acknowledge the fact as well that Julius and Jalen are going to be just as good, if not better, because this team maximizes Julius and Jalen's abilities. They both are great at getting into the paint and drawing defenders, 2 or 3 defenders near them. Everything is going to be open. Mikal Bridges is going to be likely one of the highest scorers on this team because he's going to be open a lot, because the Knicks have so many other players that are going to draw attention. And we have other players that we can switch on the team's best players that'll make it hard for them to run after all of our great players. The Knicks are going to do damage. I'm very, very happy. Just can't wait to see what happens. D-Block, another member that we have here. Shout out to you, my brother. He says, if Julius's offensive game should shine with these players, we have, excuse me, let me say that again. If Julius' offensive game should shine with these players, we have, if played right, we should be one of the top teams on the offensive side of the ball. Now, I do agree with that. If it messes well, though, he has to shine the right way, but it is going to shine the right way. It's a spoiler alert, but I'm telling you, if you look at Randle's game, you look at how he plays that bully ball, he's always inside the paint. He's always drawing 2 or 3 defenders. And if you're not going to throw those defenders at him, then that means it's one person against Julius Randle in the paint. I'll take those 2 free points too, if that's what you're going to give me. But the Knicks are going to be able to take so many advantages because they're going to have so many options, so many different lanes. Julius, Jalen, Mikal, OG to an extent. OG likes to run without the ball. He likes to cut. He's going to be able to cut a lot more because defenders are going to go to other players, allowing a roamer. And depending on who that roamer is, if it is OG, he's going to get so many under the basket cuts. And that way he's going to be open. The Knicks are going to find him. Don't sleep on OG and Anunoby either, guys. I think OG's going to have a great, great season as well, too. And I think his conditioning is going to make him play the most games he's played in his entire career, maybe since his rookie year. But let's keep it going here. Let's see what you guys have to say. Oh, it's James. James is back in the hater alert section. James, be careful, James. I put you on a timeout, James. Don't disrespect the chat. Be respectful and you can stay. If you're not respectful, I'm going to put you on a 10-minute timeout. So be careful, James. Be very, very careful. Let's keep it going. George says, Juju is going to shock the league. Watch his dimes increase a lot. George, I've been saying it till I've been blue in the face. Julius Randle and his impact if his points are going to go down, his assists are going to go up. His trusting the pass is going to be even better because the players we're going to have him trust that pass to are going to make each and every possession count. I would not be surprised if Julius is averaging, 8 assists, 9 assists on the season. He was one of the better playmakers for the Knicks when he was healthy last season. Even when we had Brunson. You're telling me that wouldn't happen again? It absolutely would. I agree with that sentiment 100%. Shout out to you. Let's keep it going here. Big Dave says, we have so many lineup combinations, it's going to make it so difficult for teams to match up. That's the thing. They can't. And even if they think they can, Big Dave, our ability to switch, we can switch like that. Nobody can stop that. That's why it's so hard. The 2 best wings in the league on defense are on the same team. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. You're not going to even be able to get into our paint. How are you going to be able to take advantage of anything? You can't. They're just too good. Way too good. Let's keep it going here. James says, I'm going to a Knicks Nets at Barclays on January. The chance for the Nets will be louder. Said no one ever. When you had a player to cheer for, your own player went on our Superstar Players podcast and said he didn't like that. And now that same player plays for us. Why would it be louder? The fans have nothing to cheer for. I don't even think you have fans left. I don't think you do. I'm going to drink some water. You guys cook them a little bit. I'm going to leave these key dates up still. You guys cook them in the chats. Drink some water real quick. My voice, jeez. James is making me yell, man. And the more James makes me yell, you hear my voice? I'm losing my voice on a live stream because of James, the Nets fan. James, I'm only going to give you 1 or 2 more times before you're disrespectful. And then that disrespect is going to turn into a timeout. So you better be careful. All right. Well, if you want to see the comment that got him timed out, let me read it to you. We have better fans. We will get a better draft pick, I think he says, in 2 years. All right. Well, you know what I think, James? I think you're on a timeout, James. That's what I think. What happened to all the messages? Wait, trying to find them. Message deleted by the Knicks recap. But sorry. I guess I gotta give you a timeout. So apologies, sorry, but not sorry. I warned you. I gave you a warning, James. Don't tell me I didn't. I gave you 1. I'm not gonna give you 5. Not gonna give you 15 warnings. I gave you 1. And you broke it. Now you're on timeout. So blame yourself. Blame yourself. It ain't me no more. It's on you. I'm going to go to the rest of the chat who had the ability to not do what you did. And while you're in timeout, you think about what you did. You think about the Nets. You think about Barclay being nothing in terms of fan attendance, okay? You think about being at the bottom of the barrel. You think about getting no draft picks. And you think about what you did. How dare you? How dare you, James? Let's keep it going here. You guys are loving the James stuff. Real Django says, James Lee about to get the boot. De Niro is laughing. Big Dave says James has his hands up. De Niro says, go clean your cowboy hat, James. Phil is laughing. Everybody's laughing. Listen, man, as long as I can get the chat doing this, the chat so hype and active and lively and happy, that's what I want to do. So I appreciate you guys liking it. Let me know if you guys want to talk about anything or you guys want me to make fun of James some more. I could do that. I have a whole Nets bit I've been holding. So if you guys want me to make fun of the Nets and James some more, I can do that. But if you guys want to ask me a question about the Knicks or you have a comment about the team, this is the time to do it. Definitely. Jer Beer says, let's go Knicks. I appreciate that. I agree with that as well, too. The real Django says James is crying. I hope he's not crying. I hope he's not crying. Nah, I'm not going to block him, Leon. I wouldn't block him. There's no point in blocking him. There's no point in doing that. I wouldn't do that to him. I don't block people. I'll put you in timeout. I'll put anybody in timeout if they're getting reckless or they're disrespecting people or they're not treating the fans properly. But I'm not going to kick them out or give them like an hour timeout. 10 minutes is fine. I give my son a 15-minute timeout, and he's perfectly fine. He's a little bit mad. He makes some faces, but he doesn't make those comments no more because he want to be timed out again. So, you give and you get, Phil says, Hartenstein, so many key blocks, big rebounds, that patented drop shot. Who can we replace him with and when? So great comment, Phil. I did make a comment actually about that already. When we were talking about the bigs that the Knicks could potentially target, because the Knicks are rumored to still go after backup bigs. If they went into free agency, there's nobody they could target right now that could potentially do that. You could say Omer, you're 7, but I don't think he would be, an all-star type of level pick or somebody to replace Hartenstein. But Jonas Valanāiūnas, who is going to be available at the trade deadline, I think in that regard, you will see that happen. You will see the Knicks go after a player like that. And he's the closest thing you're going to get to iHeart. And I think his defense gets better under Tom Thibodeau. And he can shoot the 3 as well, too. Monster on the boards. I think that's the way you do it, Phil. If you want to fill in this Knicks roster at the trade deadline, you want to make us a better team, you trade for Jonas Valanāiūnas. And we have the assets to do it, and it would likely be low cost as well. In my opinion, it's an automatic. Why wouldn't you do it? Let's keep it going here. Pray for Mitch's health. I will. Knicks GM 100 says, your 7 makes the most sense. He does. And he also cost the less as well, too. Because even if you went after Bismack Biyombo, I think he fits the mid-level at $5 million. So he's not even at a place where it even makes sense, honestly. Because, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. He's at $5 million, so it makes sense to get him. But it's like right at the cap of the MLE. If you go after Omer, he's at what, like 2 point something? So a lot less than the MLE, and likely you can increase his value and utilize him as a trade piece. And a team may not care about getting a small contract like that in the trade. They might want that. It might help with money purposes as well, too. We don't know. But what we do know is utilizing the full exception is the only thing the Knicks need to do to help maximize what they can offer to the Wizards to get Valanāiūnas on this team. And that's really what I want them to do. Let's see. The real Django says James went to change his diaper. I hope that's not the case. Diapers cost a lot these days. Trust me, it really does. My friend was talking to me all about it. A lot of diapers. Leroy says should have given Skip the last spot. Should have given Skip? Oh, Skapensev. You're saying Skapensev. I really appreciate your comment, Leroy. I actually mentioned it. I will mention it again. I'll actually go to the full to talk about this. So good comment. If you guys didn't hear about it, Leroy said should have given Skapensev the last spot. And we do have that last roster spot remaining. I just want to point that out. The Knicks at this point in time still have the last roster spot remaining. We still have the MLE we can use, but a player that a lot of Knicks fans are asking about was Dmytro Skapensev, that Ukrainian center that we saw playing in the summer league for the Knicks. He was one of our better players. A lot of people wanted the Knicks to offer him a training camp invitation or something along those lines. Get him on this team. But unfortunately, they didn't really offer him anything. And then they signed Achua. And then there are now reports stating that the Knicks are looking for another backup big with the MLE. So with all of those things considered, it's not likely that even if he was still available right now, that the Knicks would go after him and get him. Now, you notice I said if he's even still available now. And the reason I said that is because on his Instagram, he posted a picture of him being at the Portland Trail Blazers training facility, likely meaning that they gave him a training camp invitation. I don't think he's going to come back to the Knicks. I think the Blazers have him. They're good with him. They're going to try to develop him. And I think that is that. Does it mean it's over with? Does it mean it's the last straw and we have no chance? No, nothing is ever that way. There's always possibilities in the NBA. But if you're asking me right now, is Kapintsev going to get that final roster spot? He's not. And even right now, it looks like he's moved on and the Knicks have moved on. They're going to look for another backup big. It's likely going to be a player they target with the MLE. Your guess is as good as mine, but it's two players for me. It's Bismack Biyombo and Omer Yurtseven. That's it. Other than that, there's no other players that I think the Knicks should go after because they wouldn't really help this team, especially if you're looking to utilize one of those players as a trade piece at the deadline. You're going to have to play that player in order to have their value increase. So you have to get players that you can play on this team to back up Mitch. But great question. Thank you so much for it. I really do appreciate it. Let's keep it going. YMN Family says, what's good, Troy? When's Randle returning? My bad, I missed it. No problem at all. I don't mind going through that again. I'll actually bring up the slide for that. So Ian Begley gave us the following information. He said, on the injury front, we reported last month that Julius Randle's rehab from shoulder surgery is going right. And essentially what he said was that even though Randle's rehab is going right, and it does look like it's progressing well, he is likely going to miss training camp. He might not be there for preseason, but if all signs are progressing well, he will be available at the start of the season to face the Boston Celtics. So for the season opener, he should be available. But knowing Randle like we do, and the physical specimen that he is, and the fact that he always exceeds his timelines, I think there's a good chance, maybe the final 2 or 3 preseason games, you see Julius Randle join this team and start to incorporate some minutes underneath him and start to play with this team and what he can do in the chemistry. So that way, when we start the season, we can have him starting for us and showing out. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I hope that's what's going to happen, but I do feel like that's going to be the case for this Knicks team. But that's a very good question. And again, I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate all the feedback, all the support, all the love that I get from the comments, from everybody liking the video so it goes into the algorithm, joining as members, smashing the like button. It's all worth it to me, and I always really do appreciate it. And like I said to everybody else, I notice it. I see everything, and I notice everything. So I really do appreciate you guys always giving me that love. Let's keep it going here, though. Very good question, YM family. I really do appreciate that. I hope I answered your question there. Let's keep it going. Of course, family. I always appreciate that. And I don't mind ever answering questions or giving you information that I know or that I can report. Leon says, James Stone Cold Sucker. All right. Everybody's telling James to go kick some rocks. Okay. Stacy says, what was the sticking point with the big man on the France team? Money? Great question. I don't actually know what, in terms of the common ground they couldn't find. The only thing that they stated, Stacy, was that Matthias Lesor, who exactly is the French guy you're talking about on the Olympic team that we saw, who the Knicks own their draft rights for since 2020, that draft night trade. That guy, apparently with the Knicks, they tried to do it. They tried to make a move, but the common ground, they couldn't really find that. And I don't really know what it could be. I don't think it would be money, because if you have no NBA experience, it's likely that money would be an option. They'll pay you a lot for what a player like that would be worth. But I think it would probably be usage. He would be coming to a contender, kind of like with Rokas Jokubaitis, our draft and stash pick. He probably could have tried out for the Knicks in the NBA and maybe got an invite. But why do that if you know the Knicks have a championship contender? Their roster is 9 players deep that'll likely play, 10 players if you get lucky, and the other players are all just depth. And some people just don't want to be depth. Some people want to be utilized, want to showcase their value, maybe want to get a payday. Maybe their dream is to be in the NBA. And the dream is not to sit on the bench and cheer. The dream is to play significant minutes to help your team win. He's already doing that in the EuroLeague with his team that he plays for there. He was doing that with France. So while we're not sure what the common ground that they couldn't find between the Knicks and Matthias Lesor is, I'm pretty sure it had to do with playing time, because I would just adequate that to what Rokas Jokubaitis' reason likely was, which is probably the same thing. But I appreciate that. That was a great comment. One of the best comments I think we had all day, because nobody asked that. So shout out to you. Thank you for that. We're going to go, you know what? We'll go 10 more minutes. We'll go 10 more minutes, answer some more questions, and then we'll end the live show today. So let's go 10 more minutes here. Let's see what you guys have to say. Knicks fan 13 says, hey, I missed the part where you said what centers we should sign. Well, I didn't say what centers we should sign. I said more or less the centers that potentially the Knicks could go after. Now, the trade deadline, everybody's looking like that the Wizards are going to trade Jonas Valanāiūnas. We already heard one NBA executive state that Valanāiūnas to the Knicks makes a lot of sense. The Knicks have the assets to trade for Valanāiūnas at the trade deadline. For the Knicks, that's going to start December 15th when Preston Achiuwa becomes available. You'll have Achiuwa. There's no trade clause, so you can trade him at any time. You can't say anything about it. You use the MLE to bring another center on this team, so that way you can make the money work for Jonas, who's around $11 million per year on a 3-year deal right now, I believe. And then the Wizards want a first-round pick, so you give them their protected pick back. That pick for us means nothing. For other teams, less. But for them, means everything. And that's the best part about it. We're going to be able to recoup the value of that pick and treat it like the first-round pick it should be looked at, but it's only looked at that way from the Wizards, nobody else. So that's the trick there. And the Knicks can utilize that to get a player like Valanāiūnas. If they put together a package like that and get Valanāiūnas, it's a steal. On the free agent side of things, it's Omer Yurtseven and Bismack Biyombo. Really the only two I would say that fits the Knicks. Are there other names available? There are, but no indication that the Knicks are looking to go after them. We're going to have to wait and see what Leon Rose and this Knicks front office does. They'll have a lot of options, but it's really hit or miss at this point in terms of understanding what free agents they want to go after. The latest report that I saw out of an article that came from Greece, that I did a video on recently, was about Omer Yurtseven and the Knicks having a lot of interest in him. So, I mean, you could put that in terms of a name, but I'm sure the Knicks are looking at other people as well, too. The Knicks have time here, but not a lot of time. They should fill the vacancy right now as the backup big spot by using the MLE for a player like that. But they could change direction, too. We've seen that happen under Leon Rose. It does happen. All right, let's keep it going here. Bob says, Troy, do you remember the backcourt of the championship Knicks? This is the best since then. If you're talking about Walt and Pearl, then yeah, absolutely. I would say this is probably, well, you know what? It's similar. If you want to say in terms of the offense and defense, yeah. But I would say that backcourt with Walt and Pearl was ridiculous because they both were good on both ends of the floor. So it's in the same tier. I'll give you that. Mikal and Jalen in the backcourt, one of the best offensive players in the game, one of the best defensive players in the game. Yeah, you can sell me on that. I'm not going to fight you on it. That makes sense. I'm not going to fight you on it. The De Niro says, Valanāiūnas is the only one I've seen who I'd be okay with, but he's got to be ready to come off the bench. Otherwise, roll with Sims and Achiuwa. Well, yeah, that's the thing, De Niro. I think that's what they want to do. They want to have him come off the bench. All the reports are indicating they want to back up big to Mitchell Robinson. And that's the crazy part about it. He's used to starting. Could you imagine him coming off the bench and the rebounding he would give? He's going up against backups. That's money. He would eat them alive. It wouldn't even be fair. The Knicks need to pull off that trade, man. It's the only one that makes sense. John Bryce says, if you're going to bring it up, if you're going to bring up January, if you're going to bring up the January record, we should break the all-time win record this year as well, too. We are. Well, maybe we are. But you know what we definitely are doing? We're a 60-plus win team this year, folks. 60-plus. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care if you think I'm a homer or I'm just saying things because I'm so biased with the team. If you want to believe that, go ahead. I know what I know. And what I know is the Knicks are absolutely going to be a team that will be in the top echelons of NBA teams this year. One of the top seeded teams this year. Contenders this year. It's going to be ridiculous. We are going to have a title within the window that we have. We are very good. Absolutely. And with the moves we're going to make, we're going to be even better. I can't wait for the season to start, guys. I'm already so hype. Hey, of course, John, that's what I bring. That's exactly what I bring. I'm enthusiastic about this team because of what they give me, the energy I feel from them. And when they play and how they hustle out there, how could I not give them energy? Before we close the show today, I'll let the chat keep rolling. I'm probably done with the chat right now, though. But I might, if you guys have some crazy comments, I might go to some of them. But I want to address what we're going to be doing for next season. So next season, we are going to be doing, at least my plan is to be doing the playback.tv. So that way I can do live streams of me watching the show or watching the game with you guys. It's going to be streaming on YouTube. We're going to have a room on the playback as well, too. You'll be able to enter that room with me. We'll also have different tiers available in that room. And you'll be able to watch the game with me. You'll be able to see my reactions live in real time so you can see what I'm reacting to. We will have a little bit of a post-game, I guess, where we're talking about the Knicks and everything that we're doing there. So I want to make sure I combine that with you guys and talk about that with you guys. And the best part about the playback is I will finally be bringing up fans to the show. You guys have requested it. You guys have asked for it. You guys have begged me for it. Hey, can we get more fans on the show? Can we bring more fans on the show? Yes. When we do that for the live playbacks, we're going to be able to have live fans on so you can chop it up with me, talk about the game with me. And let's say you have a take with me that I disagree with. You're going to get that same person. That's who I am. So you're going to see that same Troy or recap, whatever you want to call me, each and every day. Another thing I want to mention again, just so I don't sound like a broken record, but it's the only way for you guys to get access to the following, and I don't want you guys to miss out. This month, we are doing a giveaway for a really good, unique, probably amazing, I want to say, snapback Knicks hat from Fanatics. So what we're going to do is, not yet, probably next week, we're going to pick out a hat. We're going to snapshot that hat. We're going to put it up. And all the members that are members of the Knicks Recap channel on YouTube will be eligible to be getting that hat, whatever fitted it is. And you know me, with my hats, with my fitteds, I love looking for great, amazing, unique hats. So when I find one, I'm going to find one for you guys. Whoever is a member of the channel, you will be automatically included into the giveaway. Now, here's the thing with giveaways and how they work. At the first tier, you're automatically entered for one chance at the giveaway. Second tier, you unlock more benefits with that, and you have 2 chances in the giveaway. So your name is put in there twice. Third tier, you unlock the granddaddy of them all, and your name is put into the giveaway 3 times. You have 3 chances to win any of the giveaway prizes that we're going to have. This month is going to be a fitted, but in January, like I said, in January, Santa's going to come a little bit late, but I hope you're ready. We're going to be doing home games for MSG. That's right, Knick tickets. And they're only going to be accessible to the members of this channel. If you want to be part of that, if you want to jump into that, the only way to do it, you see it right now. If you're a subscriber, which I hope all of you guys are, you see it already, see a little join button there. You hit the join button, you'll see the membership tiers. You hit the tier that you want that unlocks all the different features that you want as well too. And then you'll be able to join me sometimes during my member-only streams, the member-only videos, the member-only content, and also exclusive giveaways that are only available to members. You can do that now. Just go ahead and join the Knicks Recap channel in terms of a member, and that's what you're going to have access to. It's a great way as well, too, to get to know me just a little bit more. Get to know how I do my background stuff and my interworkings. Maybe you're a content creator, and you want to know how I do a little bit of my stuff. Members have that opportunity to ask me that when we do the live stream for members as well, too. A lot of content coming your way, and I know you guys are absolutely going to want to get started with that. One more thing, just before I go and leave you guys, another perk for being a member is when we start doing the Knicks fan sessions and we start talking to Knicks fans, going way back in time, breaking down everything about their fandom, how they've gotten here, the amount of money they've spent in their lifetime on the Knicks, and all of these things. I'm going to be choosing members of the channel to do those episodes with. So if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me when I'm doing the fan session show, that's going to be a new show that I believe I'm debuting next. I believe it's going to be next month, and it's going to be each and every month. 1 month, every month. We're going to do a new episode of the fan sessions with a new member of the channel and talk about how they became a Knicks fan, where they became a Knicks fan from, and the money that they spent. It's a new type of content. It's going to be great, though, still Knicks related, but just a way to look back at things and also give back to the community that always supports me. I want you guys to be involved in the content that I drop as well, too. And you can show all your family members it as well. But again, this is exclusive to members. So if you want to go ahead and do that, make sure you're joining the channel as a member. I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate all subscribers as well, too. I am never here. I can't do any of this content at all without you guys, your support, and everything that you give me on a day-to-day basis. So from the bottom of my heart, whether you're a viewer, a subscriber, a member, whatever, thank you. You give me the ability to do what I love each and every day. And for that, you will never know how thankful I am for each and every one of you. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Some last comments before we end. Cody says, playback TV is my ish. It is mine too. Miami says, thanks, Troy. Knicks on. De Niro says, Brunson going to be looking like Minato this year, teleporting to the paint. Definitely right. I love that little comment that you made there. He is going to be teleporting everywhere. Yellow flash all day. You got to love it. I appreciate that comment. Thank you guys so much. And and Rob says, I love when it's the end of the stream and we always get about another half hour. Yes, I always try to do that. When we're done with the stream, when we're done with the content of the whole entire stream, what I also try to do more than anything else is give back. And one of my ways to do that is interact with all of you guys, the audience that have watched the show for the entire time, but also have been leaving comments and also want to chat with me a little bit more. So my way to give back to you guys is to make sure when I do these live Friday streams, for the last part of my 30 minutes of the stream, to give back to you guys, engage, talk with you guys, answer your questions, maybe burn James a little bit more, make James go on a timeout, whatever it is. I'm happy to do that with you guys and engage with you guys in that way. And it looks like you guys enjoy it too. But thank you guys again for enjoying the show today. It was a great space. We talked about so many different things in today's live, including Julius Randle's return, Jalen Brunson, and how Mark Cuban views him at this point in time, the Knicks' plan at center if Mitchell Robinson goes down, what the Knicks are looking to do in terms of using the MLE to get another backup big, and so many different topics. If you haven't watched all of the stream so far, make sure when we're done with the live stream, you're watching it again. And as you always know, the clips are coming as well. We're clipping this. We're clipping the Knicks live show that I did with State, which everybody loved and praised and loved the debates that we're doing. We're going to do that. And we're also going to be hitting so many other clips as well, too. So stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed and hitting that like button so that way all the videos go into the algorithm. You stay updated with all the content you're going to see, whether it's live, it's video, or whatever. And again, I always appreciate anytime I see comments from you guys below about anything I'm talking about or what we're discussing at that point in time. But thank you so much, Knicks fans, for rocking with me for this episode. I really appreciate it. That's going to do it for this episode, though. Make sure, again, you smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace. And I'll see you next Friday.